Good morning, everybody. Big Bear here, coming at you from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Guys, today, a real good one for you today. Today, we're going to do temperance. Temperance. What is temperance? You know, I used to think that it simply meant abstaining from alcohol specifically. I had no idea that it had other ramifications for us. And what I'm going to teach you guys, temperance is your friend. And temperance is a sword. And temperance has some major constituents to it. I'm trying to make this thing work. I got a cheapie, y'all, that ain't working. It's supposed to glow. It's a glow stick. It's last year's. It should work, though, shouldn't it? How long do these things work good for? It didn't work, so I was going to use that as a prop and show you that. Temperance is a sword. Pretend it's glowing. There you have that. So, trying to let you relax. We have fun with this. If you're not having fun with it, you're pushing the rope. The whole point is to have gratitude, have appreciation, accept. One of the hardest parts of receiving is in the getting. When you open yourself up in your heart to the things that are coming your way, let them come. And then you hopefully will learn to turn that into a flow. So it's like you go to one person, you connect your host to them, and y'all have like this flow back and forth. Then you go over to this other person, you connect your host to them, and they've got a little flow going back and forth, and it's reciprocity. It's, in my opinion, part of the law of attraction. My mentor said, what you give away, you get to keep. We say what you release from your left hand multiplies in your right. So again, have gratitude. Your prayer should always be gratitude. Your prayer should always be appreciation and thanks for the things that you receive, for your benefits and your bounty. 3 minutes in, are you warmed up? Are you with me? Temperance. What does temperance mean? Temperance is, in some ways, summed up by what I like to call the Goldilocks principle. And the Goldilocks principle, of course, everybody should know this story, but it's just right. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's not too soft. It's not too hard. Just right. So the Goldilocks principle applies with all the things that are good for you, normal, helpful, and so forth. Water. Should get enough water, right? If you don't get enough water, you get thirsty, right? Did I make you thirsty drinking? If you get too much water, you get bloated and waterlogged. If you get way too much water, you drown. If you get way too little water, then you will expire as well. You will die of thirst. Your kidneys will shut down. Your body processes will just stop functioning properly. And of course, I did that because that is one of the 8 principles of New Start, and it's one of the 8 doctors here. So it was just a good example to show you. What are some other examples of things that we need to have in the correct amounts? We can talk about vitamins. We can talk about nutrition. We can talk about sunlight. You get too much or too little. You want the just right amount. There are other things, though, that aren't the 8 doctors, though. You can look at it, again, we always go back to mind, body, spirit. So can you have too much spiritual stuff? Can you? If it becomes an addiction, is it too much? If it becomes overwhelming, if it becomes a thing that's a problem, if it becomes a thing, and we'll talk about this in a minute, that gets you out of balance. And I think that's probably one of the defining factors for me is my balance. So if it gets me out of balance, then I'm out of temperance. So it's the Goldilocks principle with the things that are good for us, are okay for us to use in moderation. We'll talk about moderation a lot of times in things too. These things are good for us in the right amounts. Goldilocks principle. Does that make sense? And so when we're looking at the Goldilocks principle, then what does that do to our thought process? What can we learn from that? Again, we talk about education as opposed to medication, but so what can it teach us? Well, health in, health out, garbage in, garbage out. It's as simple as that. You know what is not good. If not, educate yourself. And then you have a choice. So temperance is where you make the decision, right? That's where you lay it on the line. And that's the sword. The sword cuts you off right there. If they say there's nothing wrong with a little wine, but if you drink it to excess, alcohol is bad. They say that there's, these, that's the other thing. So you're going to have your own belief system and so on and so forth in regards to the things that you're going to consume. And in general, we talk about consumption, right? What do you consume spiritually? What do you consume mentally? What crosses your barrier? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you touch? What is your diet of TV? What is your diet of the internet? What is your diet of social media? What is your diet of both create and consume as well too? So are you putting up content or no? Health in, health out. If you put the right stuff in, you will get the right outcome. You'll get your correct health out. Back to temperance. So what do we utilize temperance for the most, though? I'm saying this is how you become your own doctor. I'm saying that this is how you can use biological feedback, your own body's system, and you can learn what's good for you. You can learn what's not. You can learn your own amounts. You have that option. And the sun's rising. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day today. I can tell. All right. Feeling the sun on my face. So what are the 8 doctors? We talk about it. It's New Start, but it is nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance. That's what we're doing here. Air, rest, trust in a higher power. Trust in God. Trust that the sun will rise each morning. Trust that we should have some paths to walk on. That we should have some guidelines for us in our existence. These should be obvious and they should come from observation. That's your 8 doctors. And when you implement and apply these 8 doctors, then it has a balancing effect on you, which has a healing effect on you. And so that's how we can say that, for instance, in nutrition, our diet is a medical diet. Getting the proper sunlight has a medical effect on you because it helps your body produce the vitamin D that it needs. So then you can have the melatonin and the serotonin and all the brain chemicals that you need to get proper sleep and rest. Another one of the principles, and they all tie together. Ultimately, our goal is one thing, and it's balance, equilibrium. I didn't have the letters to spell out balance. I think I was missing an L or something, or maybe a C. Maybe it was a C. I could spell equilibrium, so I used a college word. You want to balance your blood. You want a balance in your mentality. You want a balance in your spirituality. That's the Goldilocks. These are the good things. You want to balance among all these 8 doctors. When you get out of balance, you know it's biofeedback. The road gets bumpy. Something ain't right. When something ain't right, hello, you need education or understanding. It's a signal. That's what your bumps are. That's why you get angry. Anger comes from lack of understanding. When you're frustrated, why are you frustrated? Because you don't know how to do something. You don't know why. You don't know when. Blah, 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 blah. You get angry. Heat rises. Anger is always a choice. And that's a tough one for me because my body tells me it's not. I still have an issue with my fight or flight syndrome that I'm attempting to correct. But Barry ain't got no little mad switch. It's either all or nothing. You little mad or big mad? I'm big mad, or else I'm not mad. I'm Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It fools people because they think it's a mental issue, and it's actually a physical issue that manifests itself mentally. You can argue me that. I'll argue it all day long because my doctors tell me what I need to know, and I listen to my doctors. Haven't steered me wrong yet. Temperance, Goldilocks principle. Not too much, not too little of what you need. Just the right amount and at the right times. And then the other edge of that sword is nothing you don't really need and no exceptions to that. So you don't, you make a decision to decaidere, to cut off. Cut it off. And you don't allow it in. When stuff gets in, if you have to drink water that's got toxins in it, you better make sure your kidneys are working, and if not, find other ways to assist your body in eliminating it. And that's during your exercise, it's working your lymph system, helping your body do that by flushing with the proper water in the right amounts. Again, doing the things that are going to assist your body maintain or achieve equilibrium. You want equilibrium in all things. That's what temperance will show you. Again, it's mind, body, spirit. But in particular, we're talking here about your body and about your blood. You want balance in your blood. And there's ways to do that through the 8 doctors. And that's what your focus really is on, is balancing your blood. When you have a balanced blood, that means everything else is together. All of the 8 medicines in the right amounts. What's the 8 medicines? That's the 8 doctors I keep talking to. You balance the blood, and then that will quiet and balance your mind. Don't you want peace and happiness and contentment? That's what, again, this will help you to achieve. It's your nirvana. You don't even have to meditate necessarily. Like them gurus. You just keep out the crap that doesn't belong. When stuff gets in that doesn't belong, you get it out. Balance and then peace is the result. You nourish and protect the mind. You nourish and protect the spirit. You nourish and protect the body. Remember, every action is preceded by a thought. Now, this is kind of deep, and I think this is helpful, though. Your spirit is your true and natural response to who you are at the moment. Okay? So when you do a body good, it helps your spirit. It helps your mind. You feel better. Your mind feels better. It's a cycle. Detox. They're going to sell you every pill or potion in the world about a detox. And the truth is your body is set up to do its own. It's just not doing it correctly. There's things you can do to kind of assist it. Certain things, There's supplements that can assist your liver. There's supplements that can assist your kidneys. And these do work in the short run. And we don't teach that, though. We don't teach. If you've got to bridge a gap, it's all right. Yeah, that's cool. And I've used supplements, and I'll talk about that. And I did need them. I've got short bowel syndrome. It's like half my small intestine is missing. It's still there, it just doesn't work. So I have malnutrition, I have diarrhea, I have absorption issues, I have vitamin deficiencies, mineral deficiencies, and so forth from that. And so I have to push that. I have to push my health to get here. And it is like pushing a rope sometimes, until I figured out a way just to provide the balance. I think I'm getting there now. I feel like I'm healing. I've been doing some of this for a year, and now I've been doing a refocus for a month. Focused on nutrition. I'm back in the saddle again, and I'm feeling hale and hearty. And I can do this because I'm healthy. And if you'd have looked at me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, detox, different ways we can talk about that. There's fasting, there's juicing, there's how do you detox your mind? What are some things you can do to detox your mind? Read stuff. Aren't you detoxing your mind now? Sometimes it's an unlearning. It's a sloughing off of the things that you've been fooled into believing. I say fooled because you've been trained to be obedient workers. You've been trained since birth to sit down, shut up, get in the box, don't argue, and do your job. And you can decide what that means to you. But your spirit, how do you detox your spirit? I know if singing, painting, any kind of creative activities. God, when I sing, I do karaoke. I'm not the best. I'm pretty good. And it's fun. I've got now where I don't care. I'll put it on Facebook. I put it on, what's that TikTok thingy? I'll put it out there. Because I'm just being me. All of me. And I'm not worried about what other people think of me. I worry about the balance in my mind and what I think of me. And is it balanced? And is it proper? I don't allow improper thoughts across my sphere of influence into my fertile field. See like that little circle around me, right? Right? So there's my brain. And I've got a shield and a sword. I'm a soldier of prosperity. I got my sphere of influence, and I'm in control of what's inside. Okay? And whatever's outside is what the world's going to bring me. And so I have gratitude for what the world brings me and appreciation for the things that I appreciate. And I'm honest with myself. If I don't appreciate it, then maybe that's something I should eschew. Eschew. I like that word. I just wanted to use that word. It means shun. I had to learn it in like my 40s or 50s. I didn't know what it meant until recently. Some of these college words. Detox. Detox your body. How do you do that? You can flush with water, the right amounts of water for a little while. Don't do it forever. Temperance. You can take supplements to help your body flush. There's golden seal. There's milk thistle. Milk thistle helps your liver produce glutathione. That's one of the master antioxidants. Yada, yada, yada. There's things you can do to boost your system. You don't want to do that long run. You simply want to balance the blood. That will help you balance everything. And then, of course, hike, go out, fresh air, a massage, water on the body. All these things nourish the spirit. Anything creative, any of these things will help detox as well. And That's temperance. Temperance is summed up in just a few things. The Goldilocks principle, just right. Make it just right. Health in will bring you health out. Use the 8 doctors as your template, as your sounding board, as your biofeedback, as your guide, as your medicines, as your principles. And then you can become your own doctor for any of the lifestyle insults that you inflict upon yourself. The standard American diet, what standard Americans eat, is slow motion suicide. You can argue me that, but I think my opinion, and in a lot of our opinions, doctors' opinions, and our body's opinions. See, don't even worry about any other doctor, any internet doctor, any Western medicine doctor, any of them. We got natural doctors here. Nutrition, what's it going to tell you? Right? Exercise. Are you getting exercise or not? What's going to happen if you don't? Water, sunlight, temperance, air, and rest, of course. All in equilibrium. But to tie it all together is trust in God. If you don't have a spiritual connection to this universe, and I put it up, and universe, what does universe mean? What is your vibration? What are you trying to achieve? Are you just here? Why are you here? And what are you doing while you're here? While you are here? What is your goal, objective? Do you have one? Did you plan to fail? Are you failing to plan? What's going on in your life? Your life habit force is your vibration. Your vibration is your song. Okay? Who you are on a daily basis, incrementally, each day. Each day you did this. Each day you did this. And you can kind of think of yin and yang as not necessarily even a negative quality, but the white and the black is simply the what it doesn't matter which one you can be objective about. Let's have fun with it. So let's say in the yin and yang, the black is all the positive uplifting forces, right? And the white forces are your dampening forces. You're going to have some of each. If you have it in absolute balance, they kind of cancel each other out. So if you want to have a net positive effect, then you have to have a net black influence on your vibration, or your vibration needs to have a net black quality associated with it. And so each day, you're going to be kind of positive or negative. But if we take it a step further and say, really, you're just simply going to have an uplifting force or a dampening force. So our dampening force is the white force. The uplifting force is our black force. And so our black force is what we're going to gravitate towards, I think. That's what's going to make us happy. And we're walking around like Johnny Appleseed, dropping little seeds, little things here and there, giving out from our left hand. It multiplies and it comes back to us. When we seek that balance in our mind, when we seek that balance in our body, it helps us achieve the balance in our mind. When we have achieved balance in our mind, that teaches us how to have balance in our spirituality and in who we are. And then that's what brings your peace and contentment with who you are, because you know that you're here doing your thing. And that's cool. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes you have to sit back and get momentum. Sometimes you have to do things. I had to bury I've got an old picture from 2006 where I buried the words I can't. And I do that to mark some significant events in my life. I use what I call mental or psychological anchors. I had my friend paint that. That's when I quit smoking, right at 7 years ago. Now, at the time to quit smoking, I had to put, can you see this? I got my, I bought my last week's worth of packs, and I took my last pack and I wrote on there, "Are you smarter than a," and I underlined Marlboro because this is what I smoked for most of my smoking choice. And I put them away for good on 9/3/2015. That was Temperance. That's where I was. I started in 1998 hitting the brakes. I had been going a million miles an hour in the wrong direction. And that's when I started fixing stuff. Took me a long time, hasn't it? This is 2022. Took me a quarter of a century, 24, I was drinking, smoking cigarettes. I was a mess. And I didn't understand. And I was sick. And I kept getting sicker up until about 10 years ago, until I found somebody and started looking at things through a different lens. So we all have our lenses that we can filter the stuff that comes into our inertial reference frame. We filter everything too through our own life experience, our personal choices, and everything. And so I look at life and experience life differently than you do. When we do this, that helps bring us back to ground zero, and what's best for any human that's out there, because this is how we developed over time. These are the natural things that we need to perform our best. The only way to perform our best is to have equilibrium, to have that balance. When you focus on balancing the blood, that forces you to balance the body. But in order to balance the body, you have to understand about the 8 doctors. So then that forces you to balance the mind. Once you start to balance the body and your mind starts accepting that it's working, that will elevate your spirit. And I promise you, I have the most elevated spirit I've had since I was 16 years old. And through the law of attraction, I now have the world's greatest job. I have fun. I get to do this. I've got a main hustle. I drive puppy dogs and kitty cats around the country. When I'm off, I get to do this and develop New Start for you guys. And I also get to visit all these wonderful places and experience. I've been to more, what do you call it, bucket list spots than I can imagine. I wake up every day. Every day I cry. I weep tears of joy. I'm just so happy in everything. And so that's what I want to bring to you, that balance, that equilibrium, and that joy that comes from not having to worry. No extremes, highs or lows, left and right, up and down. Your sphere is actually a sphere. It's not just a circle, but it's everything. It's your air, it's your environment, everything within, including you, because you're within that too. And you are a part of and influence that environment in and of yourself. God bless you. Thank you for joining me today. Temperance. It's all about balance to get your peace. Peace, guys.